Time for the ETF report. According to Mackenzie Investments, Canada's ETF market is one of the fastest growing globally, with assets topping $700 billion last year, up nearly 38% year over year. Let's bring in Prerna Mathews, VP of ETF Product Strategy at Mackenzie Investments. Thanks very much. What trends jumped out for you last year? What was the big story?
Thank you for having me. And just to clarify, $700 billion in assets here in Canada alone. The ETF industry across the world is now north of $20 trillion. And as a reminder for everyone, ETFs were created right here in Canada 35 years ago. So we have seen a tremendous amount of growth in ETFs here, of course, in Canada, but certainly also globally. And investors are voting with their dollars. They're voting to invest through the ETF vehicle. ETFs are becoming more than just passive tools in portfolios. They offer a lot of transparency benefits. They're easy to trade and rebalance in a portfolio, and more products are available. More active ETFs are available and of offer to investors. So it makes it a lot easier to manage your portfolio effectively if you're choosing to use ETFs as your preferred vehicle.
Mackenzie has long been one of the big players in Canadian mutual funds, but you have found a way to have advisors work with ETFs. Now, how is that? I mean, mutual funds, we know, traditionally carry commissions. They would pay trail fees. How does the advisor get remunerated if he or she is getting investors to invest in ETFs?
Advisors have been evolving how they are servicing their clients, the value that they are offering to their clients over the years, and the tools that they are using to help manage money for their clients is also evolving, right? So more advisors in Canada are actually choosing to use ETFs, preferring to use ETFs as part of how they're delivering their value of wealth management to their clients. So increasingly we're seeing more advisors moving to fee-based models, where they're compensated at a fee level at the overall portfolio level. So unlike previous days of mutual funds and transaction-based or commission-based structures, those days are increasingly going away, and you're seeing more advisors moving to a fee-based model. And ETFs just become very easy for those types of advisors to be able to manage their clients' money effectively, to be able to rebalance, redeploy as market conditions change, move their portfolios around a lot more effectively.
That's interesting, because the old mutual fund commission structure was so complicated. And do any ETFs pay trail fees, though? Is that a model in the industry?
It is not. ETFs are very easy. They're transparent. You understand the fee that you are paying. ETFs typically have, of course, a bid and an ask, like stocks. So you're trading them on the exchange, and then you're transacting at that market price, and that's ultimately what shows up in your portfolio. There's no other additional fees or expenses. Most ETFs in Canada don't charge administrative fees, as an example. So that level of clarity, transparency, especially in our environment of greater regulation, particularly in the advice channel, we're seeing regulations like CRM3, which are driving for more transparency of value and fee for investors, increasing ETF usage as a result of that through advisors. So ETFs have just become very great portfolio management tools that are even more efficient than mutual funds.
Can you give us a ballpark figure on how much Mackenzie has in ETFs? I don't think you regularly disclose that, but can you give us any kind of an estimate?
Absolutely. We've just surpassed $25 billion on our ETF platform here at Mackenzie, and we're just shy of our 10-year anniversary, which has been very exciting to see that growth. Like I said, the advisors that we work with on a regular basis are increasingly looking to the ETF market. And as a longstanding Canadian asset manager here in Canada for north of 58 years, we want to continue to service our clients the way that they want to be managing money for our ultimately our end investors. So ETFs undoubtedly is a part of that portfolio construction story moving forward.
One of your big funds from my Bloomberg screen anyway is the Mackenzie US Large Cap Index ETF, symbol QUU. Is that up there among the big products? But Bloomberg says about $5 billion.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of investors, advisors don't realize that we are an all-encompassing ETF provider here in Canada. We certainly have a long-standing legacy and track record in active management, and have brought that to the ETF market through active ETFs. But we also have a pretty wholesome or holistic passive or index shelf here in Canada as well.
Hmm.
All made for Canadians by Canadians. It's a very strong message we build for the Canadian investor here. And so we do have some very large passive ETFs as well on our platform that are used by individual investors, advisors, and
Hmm.
institutional investors alike.
And what are your biggest product categories, would you say, in ETFs right now? What, among your advisors and retail investors, what are the types of ETFs that they have the most money in?
Yeah, the just given what we are seeing in the world and what we have been seeing in the world, we'll say for the past 12 to 18 months,
Hmm.
there is that the deglobalization narrative, the diversification focus is undoubtedly of paramount importance to advisors in Canada and investors in Canada. So we're seeing more interest in allocating outside of North America,
Mm.
more interest in allocating to products like our international equity ETF ticker MIQE, more interest in looking at alpha opportunities in the U.S. market, where it is so incredibly tough to beat the S&P 500. So looking at long-short strategies like our alpha extension ETF ticker MALX, these are areas where more investors are turning to say, if I'm looking for alpha, if I'm trying to drive more value and return in my
Hmm.
portfolio, and it's becoming harder to find those as easily now,
Hmm.
I need to turn to areas where maybe I haven't been as focused. Another mention I'll just quickly
Hmm.
point out as well is in the Canadian market. While Canadians love investing in Canadian equity, for the most part, the average Canadian is actually underinvested when it comes to the resources sector.
Mm.
And you're hearing this and seeing this in macroeconomic commentary from various economists here in Canada. The opportunity in the resources space, I think we're at a pivotal moment here. And so for Canadians to be able to access that exposure, we've brought that to market in what we call our core resources ETF, ticker MORE. These are definitely some areas of interest for advisors and investors right now.
Prerna, thank you very much. Prerna Mathews, VP of ETF Product Strategy at Mackenzie Investments.